to you, or good night, whatever you were seeing this video, or maybe good morning. Sorry about that. The video's supposed to be out in Thursday, but it's Monday now. Well, you know, it's summertime, July, and the the very hot sun, summertime, the beach. I'm sitting on my yacht enjoying the summer. And by the way, I'm also hanging out with my pal Handsome Jack. Handsome Jack, say some good words. Hello to you, I'm Handsome Jack here. I hope you're having a very good summertime, and please excuse my friend Albert Wesker here. He was just hanging out with me. You know, I'm doing some pretty cool, awesome parties there. So, there's the microphone to you, Albert. Yeah, thank you a lot, Jack. And yeah, I'm sorry about that I didn't release this video, but I'm about to, get in line, so I'm about to release it now, even though I sincerely apologize to you. Alright, this week in Destiny, we have 3rd of July 2025. This week in Destiny, we have more details to share from the Age of Fate. We are getting closer and closer to July 15. So today we are talking about the incoming weapons tuning as well as some economy changes. And let's not forget about the developer stream from Tuesday, the gear cheering dev inside article from yesterday, and the other topics you can see below. We had a live stream on Tuesday, a new Rite of 9 challenge, announcing our world first race hosts, GCX, here we go, Kepler restricted brief, weapons, power, and economy updates, Destiny 2 open access. Bungie Day is almost here. Thank you for watching. We hope you all enjoyed our second live stream for the Age of Fate. We covered some of the new activities, rewards, and systemic changes coming in July 15. We started our stream with the Age of Fate launch trailer that you can watch just right below. Spooky, right? Honestly, I saw that trailer from my safe house, and honestly, this developer stream, the second one, were worse than the first one, because the second one have a lot of water, a lot of talk, without the little showing what we're about to see. The only thing they saw, how the progression of the system and how you're going to progress with weapons and armor, and how the new modifiers is about to go for Nightfalls. Alright, we covered a lot of topics during our first section. Yeah, you are. Unlockable world tier difficulties for the campaign, side quests that you unlock after completing it, Metal Ball Banes, a 3-player activity that uses the ability you unlock in Kepler. The new destination is filled with many secrets, and Guardians are tasked with uncovering all of them and choosing how hard a challenge they want to face. Also, what's going on with all the fungi? So yeah, this is the portal. Like, yeah, by the way, we won't have on our directory space the Kepler destination. No, it will be in the portal. Okay. Next, we talked in depth about the portal. We have a lot of activities available in our new hub. From Onslaught to some favorite seasonal activities like the Coil, you can choose from a big pool of modifiers to tune the experience and up the challenge in order to get bonus rewards. The goal is to make activities not only more rewarding and personalized, but also to make them easier to understand. Tons of new ways to enjoy your favorite game with solo ops, fire team, ops and crucible ops, and also pinnacle ops, plus a section dedicated to activities like exotic missions that will get their unique rewards. To make it easier to understand and follow, we have reward guardian ranks to focus on the portal and its activities. Okay, I doubt the guardian ranks is gonna be useful, because right now they're so useful, like it was big sarcasm, like they are useless at the moment, and it's only represented um your number, how gig you are in this game, because some of them requires you to solo a freaking dungeon. We also have the new seasonal hub with weekly ranks, daily and weekly challenges, and tons more gear to earn, and that resets every week. If you complete the conquest also available at this hub and progress through the different difficulty settings, you will also just a second. You will also earn the renewed Conqueror title. Don't worry if you already have the gilded it a few times, you will keep your marks. Who actually cares about gilding their seal? I did it a few times, maybe 3 times on my Dredgen because I love Gambit. But other than that, like, what's even the point of it all? If your gilded status is always resetted, I hate it with passion. I hate with passion when your gilded stuff is resetted every freaking season. And I also hate the time-gated seasonal modifiers from the artifact. Like, who even uses this shit? And we didn't forget about Power in the Edge of Fate. We have a whole section just tweet about it with many more details. So we'll skip it here. Just keep scrolling and you'll get there. For now, just don't get too worried then when you are power level 10, when you start playing our next expansion. Hope this recap of the live stream helped everyone get an understanding of the most relevant topics we covered. If you want to get the whole picture, though, why not watch the whole stream by yourself? It's right below. Ride of the Nine final update. As we move into the final 2 weeks of Ride of the Nine, we wanted to share some updates coming next week to close with a bang. Do you remember Daybreak? Yeah, the old school modifier where your abilities recharge like crazy. How fun will it be to turn it on for the Explorer mode version of the Ride of the Nine dungeon for this week? Because it's happening right now. Fetch your friends, put on some destructive supers and go farm like mad. Remember that on top of weapons you can also use your nonary manifold to earn nonary engrams that contain some fan favorite cosmetics. By the way, if you are not enjoyed before the Ride of the Nine, it's very, very quick. I will say that I'm not gonna spill a lot of water for this, but if you wanted some cool exotics from Eververse, especially those who were purchased by Silver, go into the Ride of the Nine right now before the July 15, because these engrams give you those specific exotic cosmetics like emotes, the ghost shells, the sparrows, ships, ornaments for weapons, exotic ones, which you don't have. Like, I even saw that one dude were able to get a specific sparrow, which have a Gelahorn specific style. This thing is cost money. You need to pay your real money in order to obtain them. So before the release of the Edge of Fate, if you don't enjoy the Ride of the Nine and you thought that the loot out there is terrible, don't need it, so you should go right now and get some exotic cosmetics, because like everyone likes cosmetics, by the way. But remember, the amount of those engrams you can have from the emissary is capped at 20. Plus, you will get every Well, they say every day, but I don't get it. I won't get any new engrams because they once said that you will get every day one engram until the release date of July 15th. But I don't have one yet. Probably again, Bungie, something broke, I guess. Additionally, preparation of the Age of Fate, two servants of the Nine are bringing gifts to Guardians. Both Zur and Emissary will have desirable exotics that will be part of the featured gear on day one of the new expansion. Bring your strange coins and honorary manifolds and snag some loot. As final reminder, here's the picture for the next 2 weeks. Prophecy is featured until July 15. Players can earn honorary engrams. Starting July 1, players may purchase honorary engrams using 350 honorary manifolds as the summary, up to 20 during the Rite of the Nine. Starting July 8, players will be awarded one additional honorary engram each day just for signing in. Just be sure to claim it from Emissary. And yeah, Bungie, where is it? I don't receive any one of those engrams from Emissary. Every day when you started this in last Tuesday. Where are they? Even more increased loot from the final boss chest when completing all encounters. That's true. New challenge appears. We'll arrive in a dungeon. Hurrah, before the dive. The team of Tracker running weekend challenge prophecy. Complete prophecy on Eternity mode as fast as you can. And from July, complete Spire of the Watcher. And you'll receive this thing. Give us more money, I guess. Finally, all the participants who sign will receive the 9-crowned emblem. Another one emblem for God of the Emblems. I hope. World First Race is back. For those who is actually doing them. But don't get me wrong, there are a lot of teams out there who is doing the first... the day one raids, and Bungie especially interested in watching them. Guardians, we have a new raid ready for July 19, and you know what that means. There will be a new world first race where the most capable teams around the globe will conquer, conquest, contest mode difficulty, and fight to be the first team to complete the raid. We're excited to confirm we have partnered once again with wonderful CB Gray and Evan 1997 to bring you the raid race action live from Bungie HQ this time. Stay tuned to next week's tweet for more information, what channels to follow, the schedule, the international hosts we will support, and how you can earn the beautiful Power Hues emblem you can use below. Another emblem for God of the Emblems, Bungie's GSX. We are excited to share something special coming on July 20. We are hosting exclusive developer panel. Another panel for them today also. The developing content is very difficult. Like we can't over deliver stuff. Like this was so embarrassing for them actually. There's a Fate, Exploring Destiny Narrative Craft, blah blah blah. We're thrilled to have D2 Narrative team members. Yeah. Find out more. Another emblem for the God of the Emblems. Brief, it's the lore. I don't want to read the lore. It would have been better if they give us some cutscenes inside, but not to point this onto their site. Oh, for God damn it! Wait, there's... Well, probably I can read. Intel, House of Exile is a lower house made predominantly from the remains of other houses defeated at Twilight Gap. Oh, so those House of Exiles are basically the fallen who's got exiled from their house, and they're band together and they are like outlaws. Like they are still Elixni or fallen in if we're calling them in old fashioned, but they are probably the fallen who were from the other houses, and they are grouped together and born this House of Exile. However, according to the cryptarchy, The Exile banner predates Twilight Gap, albeit without an official title. It was simply a collection of malcontents, outcasts, and, well, exiles during the long drift to Earth from Reese. So probably then they are the outcasts, exiles, bandits from their society, outlaws, corrupt Elixni, the thieves, like all the scum from the Elixni in general. While many of the exiles reconstructed into the house on the moon, Luna, a subsect of the house, broke away prior to the Battle of Twilight Gap, refusing to invade Earth. They retreated to the edge of the Sol system to live in peace. The exiles on Kepler are believed to be those defectors. Procausal weaponry has been encountered. Guardians should take maximum precautions during an engagement on Kepler. Select House of Exile armaments have been noted to contain stasis crux cores or compressed strand tangles suspended in a mixture of Elixni technology reminiscent of House Salvation, forces under the Witness, and an unknown energetic charge. Wait, how on earth are they supposed to have the how on earth they're supposed to have technology which is specific for stasis and strand, if because strand and strand were discovered by despite me hating this character with passion, they allow her to live. The Aramis, and she formed this Salvation House, and the Elixni, they were the first who started using the darkness powers, specific one stasis, and her buddy or close lieutenant Praxis. He was the one who developed this technology in order to use the stasis as power and weapons, and also infuse stasis into the weapons, because our very first weapon in the Beyond Light expansion, when we discovered stasis and the pyramid gave us stasis, was Salvation's Grip, the cannon which could have made a lot of stasis crystals, and also soon they were also implementing the weapons which were specific usage of stasis element, like they are using the round which is infused by stasis energy, and the same goes with strand. How on earth they able to use strand if strand is discovered on Neomuna in the Lightfall expansion, right after the Witch Queen expansion, and it was a long time before the even Guardians were able to use it, because you remember at the very first time the Guardian wasn't being able to use it properly and freely. He needed to have, I don't know, some training for his, because every time he uses the strength he had this exhausted debuff. But then Guardians at the end of the Lightfall campaign, they were able to use strength freely. All the three characters, Titan, Hunter, and Warlock, all of them were able to use it. Everyone have specific strand abilities, but still they were able to use it freely. But the House of Exiles can use both stasis and strand. How on earth were they able to find it? Great Bungie, you creating another plot holes and broken your own lore. Great. I think that the Evase, the Myelin Games, but I don't think Myelin Games is covering the Destiny anymore, because he even said that I don't give a crap about Destiny in Bungie, because they are messing with their lore and it's not interested anymore, and even the Bife is no longer doing videos, because the only one who is left is Evase. This is the only YouTuber who is really doing some videos about the Destiny lore, even despite some of them having mostly water instead of lore. But it's just my opinion. But it's still he's doing some really pretty great videos. But all right, pa, 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 pa. Another of note. Exiles on Kepler seems to have undergone sort of fungal symbiosis with local fauna. It is unknown why or how this happens, but the fungus appears to feed from the dark matter of the singularity the exiles revere at the heart of Kepler. Like the only new stuff we're receiving is the sandbox update, which is not bad stuff really, but that's why people not going to buy it, because there is no new subclass. Because remember, like, people bought Witch Queen, but we still have some sort of a subclass, not a new one, but we still receive a light 3.0 system, which is on par with Destiny 1 system of your subclass tuning, something like this. But still, the dark matter, it could have been a good way to implement a new subclass, but again, they are so fixated on balancing that they even don't want to implement any new abilities, because the tuning, like, stop doing this and just release the stuff. People buying the expansions because they want to try the new supers, they want to try new builds. They don't want to make a old builds with other exotics, because what's even the point if you think that you are implementing when the Age of Fate launches, and you're thinking that they're probably going to make a new builds and they are going to be way more diverse. No, excuse me. No, they're not, because people wanted something new. And if you're thinking that you are implementing a new thing with these seasonal artifacts, Bungie, little tip from me: nobody is using them. Nobody. Probably 0.1% uses them, but that's it, because nobody likes time-gated stuff. They want to have permanent stuff, which is released with the expansion, and it stays for long and long and long period of time, years even. There appears to be sort of stylistic hierarchy among the exiles. While it affords no actual authority, the size, shape, and unique features of fungal growths sported on their armor or hosted on their chitin impact relationships, respect, and clout within the house. Initial reports suggest the House of Exile was not always hostile and at one time even worked alongside the Ionian population of Kepler. Hope you enjoy these short lore pieces, more in the coming weeks. Well, these short types of lore I do enjoy, but other than that, weapon tuning for the Age of Fate. Hello again from the Destiny 2 Sandbox team. Like most of the areas of the game, weapons have gotten many changes in the Age of Fate. So let's get right into it. Before that though, a reminder that yesterday we published a Dev Inside article focused on weapons and gear tiering. We hope it helped you understand the new system a bit better and that you can use it a source of truth moving forward. In case you have not read it yet, here is a link to it. Now let's jump right into the weapon tuning content. Weapon archetypes. Machine guns. We're trying out some new for Destiny on machine guns, staged reloads. Machine guns generally have very long reload animation times that can be very punishing when cancelled. We have added several checkpoints from which the animation can now be resumed if it's interrupted mid-reload. This is a feature we are rolling out on machine guns first, but we plan to expand this to other weapon types in the future. Now have a staged reload. Staged reload places checkpoints in the reload animation. When a player cancels a reload animation and starts it again, it will resume from the latest checkpoint. That's cool. That's cool. Glaives. The projectile changes to glaives in Heresy have been generally very positive for the archetype, but ended up opening a small window where it was actually a nerf to the weapon's projectile performance, particularly at short range PvP. Who even use, although no, PvP in glaives in PvP are actually good. We've made some adjustment to account for this issue. Reduce projectile tracking strength at very close range to avoid the behavior that made the projectile less accurate. Perks: Reconstruction. Reconstruction have been underperforming on non-rocket rocket launchers. Weapons since the nerf that increased the time it needs to start filling a weapon's mag, so we are greatly increased the amount of ammo transferred on each activation. Increase the amount of ammo transferred per activation from 10 to 25%. Okay, I guess. Paracausal Affinity. Generally, I think it's pretty important for players to be able to anticipate when a damage buff is going to expire, since having one active or not is something players are often making heat of the moment gameplay decisions about. Added a visible timer to the buff. Like I said, a lot of quality of life changes. Kinetic Tremors. Kinetic Tremors feel good to use on faster firing weapons frames, but it can underperform a bit on slower firing ones. True enough. Decreased shots to activate on certain weapons and subfamilies. High impact auto rifles require 9 hits, down from 12. Aggressive and high impact scout rifles require 5 hits, down from 6. Okay. Hand cannons subfamilies have received specific tuning. Aggressive hand cannons require 4 hits, down from 6. Adaptive hand cannons require 5 hits, down from 6. Precision hand cannons are unchanged and still require 6 shots to activate. Very easy. 1-2 punch. This was covered in our 19 of June tweet on melee changes, but we are copying it here for posterity. Now works with all melee abilities. Perk activate time increase from 1.22 seconds to 3 seconds. Attrition orbs. Attrition orbs is currently too powerful on area denial grenade launchers, but it is somewhat underwhelming on other weapon types. Increased perk progress by 20% across the board. Reduced perk progress by 80 with area denial grenade launcher. This is surprisingly not as noticeable as it sounds. Increased perk progress by an additional 30% on swords. You know, I would have think that it would be better if they, along with all these changes, they increase the experience progression for your weapons, because when you need to do it quickly or you don't have a lot of resources like myself, it would be best to just have something which give you better experience for weapons and now for armor, because upgrading weapons via non-upgrade materials and only receiving the experience, it's such a slog, really. Eager Edge and Valiant Charge. Eager Edge aggressive target tracking presents two problems. It makes it more frustrating to use the perk for mobility in PvE, and it makes it somewhat oppressive in PvP. Did you saw many people using swords in PvP, knowingly that they are going to be team shotted right from the range? Okay. Valiant Charge has some similar issues. It can track to unintended targets relatively often, which undercuts some of the reposed fantasy that the perk functionality suggests. While active melee search angle is now reduced by 50% at the start of launch range and by 88% at the edge of launch range. This requires the player look more at their target to strike it, improving specific target acquisition in PvE and requiring a more direct look in PvP. Chain reaction. As fun as the chain reaction plus hatchling interaction is, it is inconsistent with other perk combinations, which are generally not allowed to chain explosions together. It is important to be as consistent as possible when we handle these interactions. We don't want our player's ability to tell if a weapon roll is good or not to be dependent on knowing which perks chain with each other and which don't when it is not listed in game. Thread links created by weapon perks will no longer activate the detonation from chain reactions. Oh, okay. Chain reaction, Dragonfly, and Firefly. These perks currently deal different amounts of damage to different targets based on the type of weapon that activates the perk. In many cases, this makes these perks even worse on weapons that do not use them well in the first place. It's harder to get precision kill with a submachine gun than it is hand cannon, but Dragonfly also deals less damage when a submachine gun activates it. One perks to feel stronger on different weapon types for obvious reasons, such as how often weapon gets precision kills rather than unintuitive ones. Chain Reaction, Dragonfly, and Firefly no longer use weapons archetype scaling against combatants and instead use a new perk damage scaling that is more normalized between different weapon types. This buffs many weapons with these perks against most targets. Here's some of the biggest winners from this change. Fusion Rifle deals 41% more chain reaction damage to minor combatants. Submachine guns deal 43% more Dragonfly and Firefly damage to minor combatants. Which, by the way, submachine guns have Dragonfly on them. I would like to see. Dragonfly and Firefly. Auto rifles deal 47 more Dragonfly damage to minor combatants. I don't remember which auto rifles have Dragonfly. Oh wait, some have. They're probably it's either stasis one or an energy ones. Linear fusion rifles deal 165% more chain reaction damage to minor combatants and at least 124 more chain reaction to all other combatants. Varies slightly based on combatant type. Since when we are using linear fusion rifles to add clear? Swords deal 123 more chain reaction damage to minor combatants and at least 193 more chain reaction damage to all other combatants, varies slightly based on combatant type. In the interest of transparency, we want to call out the 3 instances where this change results in a nerf of at least 5% decreased damage. We do not expect any of these to have serious impacts on Balak's perk, and kills Sniper's rifle deal 8% less fire. Talking about sniper rifles, if you can hit, of course. Special ammo wave frame grenade launchers deal 6% less chain reaction damage to major champion. Okay, I get it. Hand cannons, specific ones, deal less Dragonfly damage. Sniper rifles deal less Firefly and Dragonfly. And special ammo wave frame grenade launchers deal 6% less of chain reaction. A lot of buffs to chain reaction on white weapons and some kind of nerfs on specific hand cannons, sniper rifles, and special ammo wave frame grenade launchers. Champion interaction changes. In season 20, we added the ability for subclass verbs, ignitions, jolt, suppression, etc. to stun champions and have since added these verbs to weapon traits and various exotic weapons through rebalances. And you think, Bungie, that people will go in Destiny, that it needs a lot of, with all these verbs that you created, by the way, they need to examine this even harder now in order to understand what ignition is, what jolt is, what suppression is, what suspend, what freezing, and how it works. So yeah, about these verbs, people gonna get even more confused with this. Alright, but I digress. We quickly realized these weapons had issues when paired with anti-champion effects from sources like Artifact or Radiant. Nobody cares about Artifact's sources. Nobody cares about this. Tuck. To prevent erratic behavior, we barred certain exotics from gaining external anti-champion capabilities. It has become unclear to the player which exotic weapons are excluded, so we decided to address this issue formally. We have made certain exotic weapons, most of which applied as subclass work through gameplay, intrinsically anti-champ and will adhere to the following soft rule from now on. Weapons that intrinsically have the anti-champion symbol in the weapon tray cannot receive anti-champion capabilities from the artifact or from radiant-like effects. Otherwise, they can receive external anti-champion capabilities and be able to continue their subclass verb anti-chip. What? Exotic weapons. Vigilance wing. Vigilance wing's exotic trait last stand felt left behind by things like the electricity origin trait, so we have made a change that will allow it to be active when running solo in PvE activities. Vigilance wing reworked to be a PvE weapon also? Last stand bonus is now active when running solo in PvE activities. Wow. Hierarchy of Needs. Hierarchy of Needs is a cool weapon that currently restricts the player actions too much. We wanted to increase flexibility with the weapon while keeping its fantasy intact, and while we were at it, we let it interact with other bows wielded by your allies or yourself. Players now gain charges of Guidance Ring with any hit from Hierarchy of Needs, and now only need 3 charges to deploy the ring. Hierarchy spawn Guidance Ring duration increased from 13 seconds to 20 seconds. Hierarchy spawn Guidance Ring now rotates to face its owner. Cool. Players are now limited to 1 Guidance Ring in the world per player. Spawning a second one will remove your previous ring. All bows now spawn missiles when fired through an allied player's Guidance Ring. Yes, all bows. Fixed an issue where Hierarchy Seeker missiles would not play detonation visual effect when colliding with world geometry. Deadman's Tale. Deadman's Tale has developed a reputation in the Crucible over its years in game, but has always struggled a bit in PvE. Yeah, agree. We've made some adjustments to help it cancel out its long reload time and reward players more for landing their headshots. Each stack of Clinical Spike now grants 3 plus 3.4 plus 3.4% damage versus combatants, max 17 at 5 stacks, plus 1 rounds reloaded. Okay, duality. The previous set of charges to duality were good, but it didn't do quite as much as we were hoping. We are relaxed the trigger on its trait perks to allow it to ramp into good single target damage more consistently. Added a secondary activator for on black winds. Now gives the buff when landing most of your pellets on target. Okay, the Navigator. Navigator is an interesting exotic but has felt a bit one trick for its woven mail and tangle creation. We've added a bonus to the weapon while the wielder has woven mail to let it excel while you're using it for its original purpose. When the user has woven mail, increased damage 25% in PvE and 5% in PvP, increased ammo generation stat. Okay, Wicked Implement. We have shifted Wicked Implement to a faster fire rate to better align with its gameplay fantasy. With our recent changes to how stasis interact with champions, we have also made Wicked Implement to be anti-overload intrinsically to align with stasis role in wait, Wicked Implement, isn't that the scout rifle which every time you do a precision hits with this weapon it starts to freeze the target? Oh, great. Now is rapid fire RPM. Oh, okay. Now it takes 1 additional hit to start slowing and to freeze to account for the faster rate of fire. Increase magazine size to 20. It's now intrinsically anti-overload. Okay. Heart Shadow, a big constructor for a lot of heavy ammo for heavy swords is just how fast they chew through ammo. Wait, Heart Shadow, isn't this from Duality Dungeon? I still don't have this sword because I don't like Duality Dungeon because Kyatel HP is so thick, like the amount of window for for damage phase it's so little that I don't like it that much. even though the guns from there, it's kind of cool. It makes it hard to choose when and where to use them, especially for a weapon like Hard Shadow that very much wants you to use it to clear out chaff by peeking in and out of invincibility. So with these changes, we have leaned harder into that fantasy. Increased ammo reserves, reduced cost of heavy attack to 3 from 4. So generous. Added defeats while shot in the dark is active, make you invincible once more. Okay. Worldline Zero has always been a fun sword to play with, but has largely fallen off of favor ever since it lost its ability to let you skate alongside introduction of Eager Edge. To give it a more defined niche, we are leaning into its Tesseract ability, emphasizing at clear via rapid nimble teleports. Increase launch distance of the heavy Tesseract attack by 3 meters. Remove the ability to chain two blink attacks back to back. Added a new effect, defeating a target with Tesseract allows you to Tesseract again for a short duration. These extra blink attacks cost less ammo and consume less guard energy. Devil's Ruin is another exotic that has felt a bit on one trick for a long time now. Well, Devil's Ruin was a peak in PvP as far as I remember. We have reworked the weapon to remove its fire on release behavior as well as making the beam mode more of a reward. Once it has been enabled, removed fire on release behavior, beam is now behind special reload. Kills with the weapon make fire sprites, and picking up a fire sprite enables the special reload. Beam now scorches on hit and ignites on kills. Increased magazine size to 20. It's now intrinsically anti-unstoppable. Okay, Thomas Matchbook runs into issues with survivability and overall usability. Of course, every time you use this thing, it starts to scorch you, and literally losing shield and health. These changes focus on improving that experience, allowing players to maintain ignition trigger even if they stop shooting for a moment, providing intrinsic avenues to heal back lost health without completely removing build crafting potential. Also wanted to provide a higher incentive for players to hip fire this weapon and improve how self damage is communicated to the user and to the other player. General added a burning screen effect while the player takes self damage from ignition trigger. Other players who are taking self damage from ignition trigger now have a burning effect surrounding their model. Ignition trigger. The hot buff now appears as a bar. While ignition trigger is active, the bar charges you as you fire the weapon and drains when you don't. So long as the bar has some charge, ignition trigger will remain active. Heatsink, keep fire self damage decreased to 50%, less damage than aiming downside self damage, previous 33% less damage. Catalyst removed. Improved health regen. Now final blows while ignition trigger is active grants Cure X1 to the user. Great addition. Scorch on hit is unchanged. Winter Bite. With a massive update to how melee damage works, Winter Bite is this stasis heavy glaive. This always on effect on Winter Bite ended up being a bit too much free damage, especially in comparison to swords like Wicked Implement. Winter Bite will now be intrinsically anti-overload to align well with the changes made to Stasis Shadow Champion Stunning. Reduced enhanced melee damage with ammo to 20% to plus 20% versus bosses down from 50% plus. This is to account for this now being able to receive melee damage bonus from a variety of sources. Now intrinsically anti-overload. And anti-champion changes. The following weapons have not been rebalanced but have been given anti-champion capabilities intrinsically. Anti-unstoppable, Queenbreaker, Salvation's Grip, Dragon's Breath, anti-overload, Tractor Cannon, Darcy, Two-Tailed Fox. Condition of finality can be anti-overload or anti-unstoppable, depends on which elements is active. Regarding PvP, for those looking for PvP tuning numbers, we are aware of the math in terms of balancing around fixed health values and the new weapon stat damage bonuses. We have our fingers on the trigger and are aimed at a number of targets, but we want to make sure the weapons and perks we choose to tune actually become balance issues. Instead of preemptively nerfing a bunch of builds of playstyles before you are even able to try them once, it is know how realistic it is to achieve certain stat combos and what trade-offs those stat splits enforce. We will have more complete pictures of to determine how problematic these builds actually are in the Crucible. We'll be watching and gathering your feedback, and we are standing by ready to adjust as necessary in near future updates. Power in the Age of Fate. We are remaining in Destiny 2 score game experience comes a refreshed version of player power. We have overhauled how you earn power and what it means to your journey across season to be a more meaningful experience. We've also removed agency in choosing how you want to level up. Earning power will be more intuitive than ever before, with most activities even offering a reward forecast that enables you to plan your rewards. Increase your power by overcoming greater challenges and earn higher tiers of both armor and weapons that come with additional stats and benefits. So that means that you either not before we have that only during the reset in Tuesday that you always receive these pinnacles. Now you probably have them infinite amount, as far as I understood. When the fetch fit releases July 15, power will be refreshed to start at 10 for a much cleaner and legacy power will still be viable. Visible on the power tooltip, power band. The updated power band power will work as it traditionally did when playing the previous soft cap. You'll see progress from the new Edge of Fate expansion to PvP, patrolling your favorite classic destination, playing activities, Portal, uh, mission finding secret chests in Fate Saga. Lots of activity content will exist in the power band, including the entire event, the legacy, and even the new redacted raid. While these activities won't ask you to earn more than 200 power to play, during the climb power cap you will be able to earn tier 1, tier 2, and even occasional tier 3 drops before again Bungie developing this bicycle seasonal power. Since Shadowkeep the seasonal artifacts offer the way to increase, as far as I understood, it no longer give us any new things for this. The bonus won't, artifact won't give us any more power bonus. Great way to get advantage. Power activities considered with finding nicer better gear instead of date of fate, blah 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 blah. Challenging yourself. There are no longer weekly limits on how much progress you can earn either, so your power can climb for as long as you want. Okay, bonus power reverses with the climb for the power cap of 30, increasing total power 400 to 450. Okay, with the Ashen Iron Major update later this season, you'll be able to earn total power all the way to 550. But they, I don't know if they read it here, but when the Renegades starts in December, as far as I remember, your power level is going to be decreased and reset it again to 200 again. Infusion is a great way to increase power of your favorite items, but needing constant supply to upgrade modules. By the way, as far as I remember, upgrade modules is going away. You won't need them anymore. You will have the ability to uh, dismantle them, and they will give you some glimmer and some stuff. But as far as I understood, the enhancement course is about to be the main source for upgrading this stuff. So, for example, uh, uh, infuse level, power cap, a new currency called unstable course. We will find unstable course from a variety of sources. Primary way to acquire them is by dismantling unneeded gear that has seasonal bonus. This thing reminds me a lot of Destiny 1, because in Destiny 1 you have weapon parts and you have armor parts. And now when you dismantle armor, you will have these unstable cores. All the good stuff is, all the new stuff is well forgotten good stuff. Higher the bonus power of the item dismantled, greater the number of stable cores you receive. Infuse the item with larger difference in bonus cap. According to the Age of Fate, power climb should be more intuitive than before. Seasonal blah blah blah. Oh my god, economy updates in the Age of Fate. In the Age of Fate, we're talking to a deep look into our core solo ops. Oh my god. Am I master working? Master working. The way how it will work. A lot of glimmer they want from you. Enhancement course. Station materials, which stop dropping from resource nodes starting in the Witch Queen and later only granted glimmer. Ugh. I hate you Bungie for this. Because I like to gathering these materials from destinations. Master who will no longer accept destination material and they will no longer have any value. This is the list of materials. Yeah. Activity rewards changes when Gamma ops up slot. Brave Arsenal weapon will be removed to part of Zor's wares. Only the standard non-foil versions of these weapons will be available. Zavala will no longer offer Onslaught attunement. Why you are deleting this? Nightfall weapons are now legacy gear. Nightfall loot pool will be updated to include all previous Nightfall weapons that have origin trait. Nightfall rewards are on knockout list until Nightfall weapons have been unlocked. From then on, all Nightfall weapons have a flat drop chance. Grandmaster Nightfalls no longer exist as their purpose and function have been transferred to the portal screen and conquest. You will still experience Grandmaster difficulty just in other activities. And as far as I understood, the Grandmaster is replaced by the ultimate difficulty. Ritual reputation reward tracks have been removed. Ritual engrams have been removed. Legacy focusing remains, but costs have been updated with the removal of ritual engrams. Legacy armor and legacy weapons will cost 15,000 glimmer, 3 enhancement cores. Weapon interpretation ranks. Zul will not sell legendary armor in the Age of Fate. All of Zul's legendary armors will move to Ada 1, where she will sell them for cosmetic purposes. Zul will now sell 2 exotic armor pieces per class per week. Oh, instead of 1, now we'll have 2. One will be from the existing pool of exotics that Zur has always sold. One will be from the Beyond Light, which Queen Lightfall, the final shape pools. Players must own this expansion in order to get this from Zur. Zur will continue to sell catalysts, but they have been moved to Strange Gear offers menu. Zur will sell exotic class items every week. Okay. Players still need to acquire exotic class item from Dual Destiny before. Okay. Zur will sell 9 legendary weapons per week. 3 weapons per slot. Class specific swords, which aren't class specific anymore, are still in Zur's inventory. Zur has had Brave Arsenal weapons added to his inventory. Okay. Zur has Legacy, Nightfall, and Trials weapons added to his inventory. Cool. Rare chains and adept weapons showing up. Standard weapons will cost 17 strange coins. Adept weapons will cost 41 strange coins. Zur has had weapons from Echoes, Revenant, and Heresy added to his inventory. Great! Rare chance and adept heresy weapons. Standard weapons will cost 17 strange coin. Adept weapons will cost 41. Well, considering we have 200 coins, well, I guess it's a reasonable price. Zur has had legacy comp crucible weapons added to his inventory. Great! Zur will no longer sell Nightfall ciphers, Gambit engrams, Crucible engrams, Wengan engrams, and upgrade modules. Okay. Ada will be offering up to 20 threaded bounties per season per class, and Ada's inventory legacy armors have been expanded to include armors previously distributed via Azure. Legacy armor will cost 15,000 glyph fee enhancement cores, and they will offer players who have made it to the tower for the first time before the Age of Fate bundle of exotic armors tokens to be used to roll for exotic players with new stat packages. Players must have unlocked an item in collections before it is eligible for rerolls on Ada 1. These tokens are one-time offer. These offers will disappear from Ada when all tokens have been spent. No new armors will be added to this in the future, so there is no benefit to hoarding tokens. Transmog bounties have been overhauled. PvE bounties that can complete anywhere in PvE activities no longer sends player to the specific destinations, Blight, Well, or Altars of Sorrow. Bounties that can be completed in any PvP mode, Crucible trials, etc. Okay. Raids and dungeons unchanged from previous versions. Gunsmith reputation rank reward track has been removed. Bounties no longer provide gunsmith reputation. Dismantling gear no longer provides gunsmith reputation. Banshee will no longer sell upgrade modules. Gunsmith engrams have been removed from the game. So yeah, if you still have a lot of them, or maybe 99 engrams until the July 15, you better start getting weapons from him and dismantle them, because sometimes when you dismantle them, he will give you some enhancement cores. Legacy weapons will cost 15,000 glimmer, 3 enhancement cores. Rahul the Cryptarch reputation ranks have been removed. New exotic armors in the Age of Fate will be unlocked via completing the legendary campaign and not through Rahul. Well, this sucks. Unlocked per class, novel focusing for exotic armors from past expansions will be available to players immediately, with no need to decrypt engrams to unlock it. Costs remain the same for novel focusing. Well, this is kinda suck, okay. Focusing submenu has been reordered to put the most used screens up front. Ghost mods, previous armor ghost mods will be deprecated as they no longer match the stat on armors post version 900. They will replace with a new set of armor ghost mods. Some activity ghost mods have been deprecated. We plan to add new activity ghost mods in the future release. Syrian Cypher, Nightfall Cyphers. As far as I remember, if you wanted to get some Trials of Osiris ciphers, they will not be usable until the Renegade came out, because when the Renegade is about to start, then they will have somewhere an article, information, what are they going to do with it, because as far as I understood, another overhaul of Trials of Osiris is inbound. Expansion open access starting from July 8 to July 22. All currently available Destiny 2 expansions will be available for free on all supported platforms: PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, Microsoft Store, Epic Game Store, etc. They will be free, and they will be free for all support until July 15. So if you want to try Destiny, I guess this is the time. Bungie Day, another emblem for God of Emblem. Bungie Sale Day, player support report, console vault updates. With the start of year 8 of Destiny 2, certain items will be deprecated from players and inventories that corresponds with vaulted activities in seasonal campaigns. They will then be moved into Destiny Content Vault. We have updated Destiny Content Vault article to reflect these changes and created a new article fully outlining items being deprecated at the start of year 8 from players to reference. Claim your season rewards, Bungie rewards, ritual vendor upgrades, seasonal pass items. So Drake helmet update, known issue. All of this is Control S, Control V. Only thing new, eternal title doesn't count towards an account total titles. Power couple, don't care, still don't care. That was a long tweet. Indeed it is. But also a great one. Tons of information to digest. Taking note that your fate of the year prophecy as a whole. We bring a lot of systems. Blah blah blah. Bring your best fashion guardians. Destiny to community. Well, I have mixed feelings about this TWAB. Some interesting stuff over there, but some other stuff it's just pure water. Like a lot of words, a lot of stuff without context. So, but not all of it. Some of it was good, but some things like you even saw, I even barely even read it because it was again water after water after water. They brought some idiot into their team because he doesn't know how to make this very very short. He just likes to explain and explain and explain and explain until you're starting to yawn. All right, I tried this as best I can for making this very short, but you see again an hour long video. If you made it this far, thank you so much. This was Wesker speaking. Remember, the Age of Fate is about to start in July 15. We still have some time left. But remember, it's Weskin time.